Welcome to the Saints Sports Corner. We got a great show for today. We're going to be discussing the Saints year in review. We're going to be discussing how healthy the roster is going into the offseason. We're also going to be discussing what are the major needs that the Saints need to improve this season in hopes of making the playoffs in 2026. We got a lot more of that on the Saints Sports Corner.
Yeah. Who that? Who that? Who that said they gon' beat them Saints? A win is a win by a mile or an inch. It's any given Sunday when we battling in the trenches. Who that? We that? Who that? We that? Die hard even after an L. Still reppin' in my section, yelling outside the dome, going home. Who that? We that? Black and gold soul, that's my song. Who that? We that? Who that? We that? Touchdown Saints putting points on the board is how my squad steady winning. Sacks on D, turnovers, wow, don't even think about coming back, it's already late in the fourth now. We that, who that, we that, who that, who that, who that. 4,000-yard QB, 1,000-yard rusher, 1,200-yard receiver, straight pressure. Lockdown corner, throw that ball if you want to. TFL's in the backfield, boy, we on you. Black and gold, so that's what I'm all about. Forget about the division, the Saints run the South. Who that, we that. Who that? We that? Who that? Who that? Who that? Who that? Who that? Who that?
Welcome in, Who Dat Nation. You already know what it is, man. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, man. We got a lot to talk about, man. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Make sure you comment, man. But as always, man, let's just dive right in. We're going to be examining the health of the New Orleans Saints roster going into the offseason. It's time to do the year in review. We're going to be discussing the potential needs that the Saints need to acquire in the draft and through free agency, so that they can have a healthy roster, a competitive roster, so that they could potentially win the NFC South and make the playoffs. So we're gonna go position group by position group, and we're gonna analyze: is it a strength, a weakness, or is it mid? That's gonna be the three categories: strength, weakness, or mid. If it's a weakness, we definitely need to mark it down as something that the Saints need going into free agency in the draft. If it's mid, it's so-so. Maybe they can address it. It's not a pressing need. And if it's good, we ain't even going to touch it. You know what I'm saying? So we going to start where it all starts for every team. The offensive line, man, because, you know, teams don't win games without an offensive line. It starts with the big uglies up front. We're going to start offensive, defensive line, man. So let's just dive right into it. Offensive line. This who we got. We got Eric McCoy. Okay. We got Talise Fuaga. Okay. We got Kelvin Banks. Bank on it. Terrell Simpkins. We also got Dylan Randuns. Who else? We got Cesar Ruiz. So that's some of the guys that's going to pretty much be on the offensive line, or potentially brought back to be on the offensive line. Now with those guys, the only locks should be Fuaga, Banks, and McCoy. Now, McCoy has been dealing with health issues the last few years. So, I don't know. Ruiz continues to struggle, and the other guard spot has just been up for grabs. Now, Simpkins showed you something. Aaron 9 didn't, but he struggles with power right now. So, as far as the offensive line goes, the outside is set. Fuaga just got to get healthy. Kelvin Banks did his thing as a rookie. He's a lockdown left tackle. Great pick by Mickey. So the outside edges are set. Left tackle and right tackle set. Now you got to build the inside, right? You got to build the inside. So McCoy, if he's healthy, obviously is a lock. He's a Pro Bowl center. The team looks different when McCoy is in. Hopefully he doesn't go down again, because then you're going to have to question his health, and it's already questionable right now. But at that left guard and right guard spot is, on top of McCoy's help, the interior offensive line for the New Orleans Saints is a much bigger need than you guys think. With McCoy's help, Ruiz struggling, and the right guard just being up for grabs. I mean, the left guard just being up for grabs, or the right guard, because they move. That's the biggest issue, or one of the biggest issues on the Saints roster. Now that you have your quarterback in place, you have to understand that you have to protect them up front. Now, am I saying the Saints should go out and spend a top 10 pick on a center or a guard? Hell to the no. You need a playmaker on offense or defense. Doesn't matter. But when I say that to say, you have to find a guard in free agency, a guard in the draft, and a solid backup center, either through the draft or through free agency, because you're only going to go as far as the offensive line take you, and these damn edge rushers can bend. The defensive edge now is not like the defensive edge you watch growing up. These guys can bend the goddamn edge. You know what I'm saying? They just can. So you need some guys. And then these defensive tackles are like tweeners and fast with pop. Man, listen, you got to get you some interior offensive linemen. So we need some guys that's going to be able to push the pocket and pass protect, because our run game is terrible. And it's not just the running backs. That's the problem. It's not just the offensive line. It's a combination of both plus coaching. You know, Kellen start turning it up later, but as far as now, we just examining now. We're not looking to the draft. We're not looking to free agency. We're not doing none of that. We're just focusing on the health of the roster as we see it right now. So, is it a weakness? Is it mid? Or is it good? Is it a strength? You know, I'm going to go with mid, borderline weakness, because you don't know what's going on in the three spots. Yes, McCoy can get healthy, but is he going to last the full season now? Now we got to start questioning, is he going to be there a full season? He's been hurt the last 2 seasons. So we got to be realistic about these things. So with that being said, I wouldn't mind if you guys at home watching calling it a weakness, because logically it's correct. I'm going to assume McCoy comes back fully healthy, ready to go, and back to Pro Bowl form. And we're going to call that, we're just going to stick with mid, because you got 3 out of the 5. You just need 2 guards. Now, I don't know what they're going to do with Cesar Ruiz and his contract. I don't know if they're going to trade him. I don't know if they're going to, I don't know. But if they keep him, he's going to have to play much better than he played the last couple seasons. Moving on. That defensive line, specifically the defensive end spot. We got Cam Jordan. We got Chase Young. We got Carl Granderson. We got Isaiah Stallbird, and we got the tweener Chris Rum. He'll be both on the linebacker and defensive end, being that he's more like an outside pass rusher. So we got those guys, and Cam is old. Granderson, he's streaky. Chase really came on, but we got to see it consistently. Stallbird, Rump, those guys are up and coming. We'll see if they can apply consistent pressure. Both of them can bend the edge. So we'll see. This is, as far as I'm concerned, outside of Chase Young, it really is a mystery. Yes, Cam Jordan had 10.5 sacks. I'm not including Cam Jordan in this because Cam only got a few more seasons. If one more season. No disrespect to Cam, but we got to be realistic. So if we take Cam out this, let's say Cam call it quits, or Cam plays one more, announces he only playing one more season. You really only got Carl Granderson and Chase Young, which is not bad, but it ain't scaring nobody, right? They know Chase Young coming off the half, they're just gonna double him. So when you got Chase Young, Cam Jordan, and Carl Granderson is solid, but listen, we need some more pass rush. This is another mid borderline weakness. Let's be realistic about it. Listen, Stallbird, you know what I'm saying? And Rump, they're unknowns. They haven't gave us enough consistency to say they're anything. Carl Granderson has shown flashes, but he hasn't given us enough consistency to say he's a dog now, right? Let's be realistic. So until he puts up double-digit sacks consistently, same thing with Chase, everybody is just Jekyll and Hyde compared to Cam Jordan, who's Mr. Consistent, but much older. So this is to me, I'm going to say this is a weakness because, man, listen, Father Time is just undefeated. That's not saying Cam going to decline, but Father Time is undefeated. You really just got Chase Young that you can count on. And you know Chase, maybe he could get into some funk sometimes. So hopefully he's on the up and up. Hopefully he's coming into his prime to where he's the Chase Young coming out of Ohio State. And if he's that Chase Young, then if you could get him an anchor mate long term, Saints would be in good position. I think that's one of the more pressing needs outside of the interior. Oh, those are the two most pressing needs to me going into free agency and the draft. Now you can fill both of these in free agency and then draft you do best player available. But as of now, I'm calling this a weakness. We struggled with pass rush for too many years. We need pass rushers. Straight up. You ain't beating nobody if you can't get to the quarterback. Moving on. Defensive tackles. The defensive tackles. What is the health of these defensive tackles? We got Devine Godshaw. We got Brian Breesy. We got Christian Boyd. We got Nathan Shepard. We got Vernon Broughton. Now, we're definitely running a 3-4 scheme. So we got some defensive tackles. Some of those guys are going to be gone. I can predict some of those guys are going to be. They're not going to keep all those guys. That's a lot of guys for a 3-4 nose tackle to be playing. But I'm curious to see what they do with Breesy. Not sure if they're going to move him because he's still a young player. He applied pressure. So we'll see. Right now, I'm going to call it a strength. To have this many pieces now, is anybody dominant? Maybe. No, nobody's dominant. But I'm going to call this a strength. They do have to get better in stopping the run as a unit, but I'm going to call this a strength because there's a lot of bodies there. Christian Boyd, you got Godshaw, you got Broughton who got hurt, you got Shepard, and you also got Breesy. So I'm going to call that a strength. I'm going to be like, you don't even got to touch that right now. We ain't even got to discuss that. That's a place of strength. You know what I'm saying? Shepard gets traded, a Shepard is released, a Shepard is a free agent. You're still playing from a place of strength because you still got bodies, right? So defensive tackle, we straight on that. That's one we don't have to mess with. All right. Moving on down to cornerbacks. No, I'm sorry. Moving to linebackers. Let's move to linebacker. We got Demario Davis, Pete Werner, Stuntsman, Rump, and we got Jalen Pope. Not Jalen Pope. Jalen Ford. Jalen Ford. Okay, so again, that same thing with Demario. Demario is getting up there in age, so I don't count him. Like, he counts as far as a contributor, but he's getting up there in age, man. And again, Father Time is undefeated. Father Time is undefeated. None of us can defeat Father Time. So, but he's still playing at a high level. But who is his replacement? Potentially Stuntsman? Jalen Ford? Still a player that's in flux, a player that is progressing. Like I said, Rump will be on here because he's like a tweener. He can play both, but he's mainly like a pass rusher. And Pete Werner is inconsistent. He's the Cesar Ruiz of the linebacking group. So outside of Demario Davis, we haven't seen Stuntsman just quite yet come into his own. That is considered a weakness, a sneaky weakness. That's not even mid. You can't trust Pete, can't trust Ford. You're unsure about Stuntsman just right now. Demario Davis is your only starter, and if he goes down, you probably have problems. And Rump is a tweener. So yeah, that's a weakness. So right now, interior offensive line, both guards center. We also got linebacker as a weakness, and we also got defensive end as a weakness. So keep that in mind before y'all put out y'all mock drafts. Some of y'all have already did it, but keep that in mind. These, we're going to pencil that in. So we got linebacking core, weakness. Said defensive ends, weakness. And we also say interior offensive line. Okay? That's what we doing. Okay, moving on. Cornerbacks. Kool-Aid, Alante, Kool-Aid, Alante. We got Isaac Yedem. We got Hugo Amadi, and we got Quincy Riley. Now, Quincy did some good things. Quincy is an up-and-coming player. Alante, man, he shows flashes, man. I like Alante a lot. And Kool-Aid, him and the Kool-Aid, they up and down, but their corners, they going to get beat. I think the Saints is just missing a shutdown corner. Like a lockdown, bona fide Marshawn Ladder. Maybe they don't have it. Maybe that's not something they're looking for in the scheme. Maybe that's not something they need, but they don't have a shutdown named corner, right? They passed on the kid from Arizona. The kid that got drafted by Arizona. He was a he's a shutdown corner, and they passed on him. They need a guy like that who can travel with the best receiver and let the other guys do their thing. But it's not a weakness. It's actually pretty solid. Not gonna call it a strength, but it's actually pretty solid. They got some guys who can cover, but they all young. That's the plus. So a lot of these guys are young, outside of Yidam probably. So this is a strength for them. Not necessarily a big strength, but I'm gonna just say they okay. This is an okay position, so they don't really got to worry about corners in free agency or the draft. I wouldn't be mad if they bring back the same corners, but I also wouldn't be mad if they get a bona fide shutdown corner either. In one of the later rounds or a second round or something like that. I mean, it's hard to argue against it. Pass rushers and corners, man, it's hard to argue over pass rushers and corners because you get you a fire cornerback and a fire pass rush, man, you can beat anybody as long as you can run the ball. You don't even need a quarterback. You see what I'm saying? So you see what Denver's doing, right? But yeah, moving on. Let's get to this offensive side of the ball. The running backs. Alvin Kamara, Kendre Miller. We got Real Deal Devin Neal. We got Audric Estime, who showed some things late. We also got oh no, that's all of them. Alvin Kamara, Devin Neal, Kendre Miller, and Audric Estime. Estime showed some things late. Kendre Miller showed some promising, got hurt. Alvin Kamara, he's starting to get hurt more and more. Like I said, Father Time is catching up. That don't mean he won't be fully healthy and have a resurgence like Cam did this year. So we got guys that are serviceable. Do we got a home run hitting back? Do we got 1,000-yard? Heck, Saints need 1,000-yard back. We haven't had a 1,000-yard back since Mark Ingram. Saints need a guy who could tote that thing in between the tackles, run guys over. And I know all your mock drafts got Jeremiah Love in it, but I'm just saying, I don't know if the Saints pick a running back that high. I don't know if that's their philosophy, but listen, we need a back. I'm not with picking a running back, but I ain't mad at it either. Kellen is good with these running backs. You see this year Saquon had under him. So, listen, If he could do that same Saquon thing, look, I ain't mad at him at all. I ain't mad at the boy at all. But I wouldn't be mad at if they took a running back there, but there is a log jam there. Not sure if they're gonna keep Alvin Kamara. I don't know. That's not what that shit. That's not what that type of show is. What I do know though, there's some young guys coming up on his, and Alvin Kamara is the wily veteran. And on top of that, there's this guy that potentially might be there in the draft whose guys are fuming over. So I don't know. Decisions. I don't gotta make these decisions. I'm playing GM now, analyzing the roster with you guys, and you guys can see it for yourself. You can maybe your board as far as this roster is different than mine, but as a pretend GMs, listen. Right now, running back is okay. It don't excite you too much outside of Alvin Kamara, but it's okay. It's very serviceable. So we're gonna put that as mid. We got a mid running back room. Could potentially win with it. Maybe you can't. We'll see. It wasn't that great this year, so health is a problem in that running back room. So adding a running back might be a must. Wide receivers. This is the one I've been waiting to get to right here. This is the one I've been waiting to get to because the wide receiver room, although it seems like a strength, I feel like there's a lot of unknowns, and I feel like it's going to get them in trouble if they don't address it. So you got Olave, you got Cedric Wilson, Bub Means, Mason Tipton, Jalen Polk, Devon Vele. Jalen Polk is the wild card. We'll get to that later. But Devon Vele, Chris Olave are locks. Mason Tipton, Cedric Wilson, Bub Means, not sure if they're going to be on the roster. Especially if they bring in a couple guys next year. Don't know. Can't tell you definitively, but these injuries opens the door for other guys. And when you do that and they go early round, you see what the Rattler thing showed you. When a new sheriff in town, he gets his guys, he's going with his guys. So from that list, only Olave and Vele is, I would say, guaranteed a job, which means you only got 2 wide receivers on the roster, which means you better get you a wide receiver out of this draft or a couple of wide receivers. Now, Jalen Polk is the wild card because I don't know if you guys know, but Jalen Polk is a bona fide stud. Now, where's his mentality at? I have no clue. I can't tell you. We traded for him from the New England Patriots. We gave up a pick, but his college tape, I will argue, is better than everybody's tape on this roster outside of Olave. Jalen Polk was a dog in college, and I get what you said. It's not the NFL. Though. He fell out of grace. How you fall out of grace when you got a quarterback like Drake May? Sometimes things don't work out. It's the same thing that happened with Joe Horn. You know, it wasn't working out in KC. Guess what? He came to New Orleans and made a boatload of money and was our starter for a long time and one of my favorite receivers all time. So sometimes a change of scenery is something you need. And maybe that's what it is for Jalen Polk. But as far as catching that rock, boy's a dog. So I can see him being a nice piece if his head on straight. If he ready to get to work. If he ready to put it back on tape. So he will be a wild card. I know they signed a guy at 6'5" from Canada. I'm not even going to put it because he may be just be a project. But that Jalen Polk one is the one that's popping out and that's intriguing me. But Mason Tipton, Cedric Wilson, guys like that, Bub Means, they going to have to fight for their life, man. They just going to have to. Because Kellen didn't draft him. So he's going to bring in his guys. But moving on, tight end, I'm just going to put Jawan Johnson. He's the only pass-catching tight end. We need tight ends bad. That's a weakness. We don't even gotta go there, man. Jawan, man, he needs to put it together for us. He had a solid season this year. I ain't gonna rag on him, but he needs to put it together consistently, man. And I get he's learning a new position, but not late in the year. He need to turn it up all year round. But he has some great games late in the year, like he always do. But Jawan Johnson is the only tight end, therefore that is a weakness. He goes down, we are shit out of luck. So Jawan Johnson as tight end. Weakness. Who else? All right, we did the running backs, tight ends. All right, the golden boy, Tyler freaking Shough. Shough on it. Shough is him. Whatever you want to call it, whatever your nickname is for, you're gonna Shough tonight. You know, Tyler freaking Shough. You have the quarterback in your building. You have the quarterback that you like. You have the quarterback you want to build around. But you have some weaknesses, like we said, tight end, interior offensive line, linebacker, defensive end. That's your weakness. That's your four main things you need going into the draft and free agency. And as we move on, we're going to go and actually see what's out there. The reason why I don't do this stuff early, I'm evaluating guys. I'm trying to bring you fresh content. I'm trying to make sure you get an honest evaluation from guys, even guys that you're not even hearing from other guys. So I'm really evaluating this, seeing where the Saints can go with this guys in the draft. That's why I'm not putting out no mock to after the Senior Bowl. I'm not doing none of that. I want everything to play out. I want the free agents to play out because guys can start signing their players once free agents begin. We want to see the full landscape before we start, putting all our eggs in one basket. Yes, I know it's fun, but we got to see who's declaring. Got to make sure we know everybody who's declaring. We got to make sure all of that before we start putting out mock drafts and make sure guys ain't going back to school. We want to know the full landscape so that we can actually put together mock drafts, put together free agent lists that who the Saints could potentially sign, which makes sense over the draft or which draft choice makes sense over a free agent. And what is in the best Saints interest. So as far as this show, we're just looking at the health. And right now, the Saints have an okay roster. Nothing pops out. There's no Pro Bowlers except the guys who made the Pro Bowlers a few years ago, the Demario Davis, Cam Jordans, and guys like that, and Eric McCoys. But as far as current, Saints don't have no Pro Bowlers. You got to have Pro Bowlers to win, baby. So we going to see how they add this piece to the puzzle. We're going to see how they look at the roster, who guys they think is valuable, guys they don't think they need anymore. We gonna see, and this list can change. This list can change once they start releasing guys, trading guys. This list can change. But as far as now, with my eyes, your eyes, together, this is where we at. We need some damn interior offensive line help. We need some damn edge rushers. We need some damn wide receivers, and we need some damn tight ends. Running back, I can see it if he's the best player on the board, the Love kid. But as far as now, these are our weaknesses. And we have to address them things, man. We have to, because on paper, it's thin for a reason. And it might get even thinner if they start releasing some guys. So another position might get stronger. Oh, I forgot about Blackman. They signed Blackman too. I didn't do the safeties. I'm sorry. I didn't do the safeties. I didn't do this. How can I forget about the safeties? Okay, let's run through the safeties real quick. We got Sanker, Blackman. You got who else you got back there? What's the guy? Justin Reed. Sanker, Blackman, Reed. Who else? I can't believe I didn't write down the safeties. That's crazy. Oh, well, guess what? We got Blackman, Justin, Sanker. Sanker's a potential up-and-comer. He did some really good things. He showed some things and early in the season. Justin Blackman, he got hurt, unfortunately, again. Older and still a young player, but constantly getting hurt. Hurt in Indy, hurt in New Orleans. So Justin Reed, high contract, also getting older. That safety position might be a weakness too outside of Sanker. Man, we might need a damn safety too. And there's a damn good safety coming up in this draft from Ohio State. So Ooh, shit. This can be. Well, I guess we go ahead on and add safety to this list because all of our safeties are hurt, continuously hurt, getting old, and we got one young prospect in Sanker. So, man, this is yeah, yeah. Saints got their cards cut out for them. They do, but I know they looking at that interior offensive line, man. Like, whoa, what the hell we gonna do here? Well, I'm gonna give Money Mickey the benefit of the doubt, though. I'm gonna give Money Mickey the benefit of the doubt because he aced this draft. So I'm sure he'll figure out the safety position. But man, the safety position, Justin Reed and Sanker is a good duo, you know. But how long are you keeping Justin Reed? Hopefully he be here a few more years. Hopefully he have a better year than he did this year. But yeah, safety is another sneaky weakness. We're gonna call it a weakness, but I could easily see one of you argue that it's mid too. So it depends. It depends on how your outlook is. I'm looking at guys that can grow with the Rileys, the Kool-Aids, the Alante. You know? Safety is not as hard as corner, but you still need, these guys are flying. You still need some guys to absolutely go get it. You need the Eric Berries, you know what I'm saying? You need the Earl Thomases. You know, you need those type of guys. The Marcus Williams, when he was out here catching passes, the Darren Sharpers. You need those guys, man. You need the guys, the Roman Harpers. You need those guys, man. That's the back end of your defense. That's the last line of defense. So I don't think the Saints have a guys like that on their roster outside of Justin Reed. So we'll see. We'll see. This is definitely gonna be interesting. Now that you got the quarterback. Now that Shough is here, it's gonna be very interesting to see how they build this thing. I'm excited. I'm excited to see how they're gonna build this thing out, man. I really am. I am excited to see how they're gonna build this sucker out. And I think we're gonna be okay. But I don't want to be okay. I want to be in the playoffs like Sean Payton. Sean Payton going to the AFC Championship game. Homie is going to the man. That damn Sean Payton can coach football. I wouldn't be surprised he pull off the win against the Patriots with a backup quarterback. That damn Sean Payton can coach freaking football, man. Shout out to Sean Payton, man. Shout out to Coach, man. Coach out here getting to AFC Championship games with Bo Nix. That's a bad boy, Sean Payton. You know what I'm saying? But that's all I got, man. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. We done analyzed this roster. We're going to have some potential free agents, potential draft picks that the Saints can go with coming up. But for now, let's end this year off. We got a okay roster. Let's get a better roster. We're going to make this thing happen, though, man. I appreciate y'all rocking with me, man. I appreciate everything y'all do. I appreciate y'all watching the videos. Make sure y'all like. Hit that subscribe button. Make sure y'all comment. Tell me what you think. Maybe your strengths is different from mine. Maybe your weaknesses is different. But let me know in the comments, man. And as always, thank you for watching the Saints Sports Corner.